Welcome back to Good Knowledge Channel. Hey, have you ever postponed an important task even though you knew you should do it right away? Or spent hours scrolling through your phone instead of completing a crucial assignment? We've all been there. But why? Why do we keep procrastinating, even though we know it hurts our productivity and adds stress to our lives? Today, we're diving into the real reasons behind procrastination, and more importantly, how you can break free from it for good. No more guilt, no more last-minute panic. Let's get started. But before we explore solutions, we need to understand why we procrastinate in the first place. Is it just laziness, or are there deeper reasons quietly influencing our behavior? One of the biggest reasons we procrastinate: fear of failure. Have you ever sat down to start an important task, only to find yourself scrolling through social media or suddenly discovering something more important to do? Most of us have been there. And the truth is, procrastination isn't always about laziness. It's often about the fear of failing. When someone worries that the outcome won't meet their expectations, they tend to avoid the task rather than face it. This doesn't just stem from low self-confidence, but also from social pressure. The fear of being judged, criticized, or even feeling ashamed if they don't succeed. The human brain has a built-in defense mechanism, and sometimes procrastination becomes a way to avoid those negative emotions. Instead of getting started, they might tell themselves, "I'm not ready yet. I'll do it once I have all the information," or "I need a better environment to begin." However, the problem is that this procrastination often drags on, leading to stress, anxiety, and ultimately regret when too much time has passed. Laziness or lack of motivation. Procrastination is actually the brain's way of responding to stress and pressure. Humans have a natural tendency to seek ease, so when faced with a difficult task, the brain automatically gravitates toward activities that require less effort, like scrolling through a phone or watching entertaining videos. This doesn't necessarily mean we lack motivation. It simply means the brain is choosing the path of least resistance. When we worry that we might not do well enough, we subconsciously find ways to avoid the task rather than confronting it. Moreover, today's social media platforms are designed to provide instant rewards, training the brain to crave immediate dopamine hits, while real work requires patience to see results. Procrastination also stems from a lack of clear goals. When a task feels too big or too vague, we easily become overwhelmed and don't know where to start. The overwhelm effect. The overwhelm effect is one of the most common causes of procrastination. When a task seems too big or too complex, we easily feel overwhelmed and don't know where to start. This creates a sense of fear, causing the brain to instinctively avoid the task rather than face it. For example, if you need to write a 5,000-word essay, just thinking about it can feel discouraging. You tell yourself, "I'll start later," but later keeps getting pushed further and further away. As a result, you keep procrastinating, finding anything else to do, scrolling through social media, watching videos, or even cleaning your room, just to avoid sitting down and writing. But the truth is, the longer you put off the task, the greater the fear becomes. Lack of a clear deadline. When there's no clear deadline, we easily fall into the trap of procrastination. If a task doesn't have a specific due date, the brain automatically places it in the "I'll do it later" category. And the problem is, later can stretch on indefinitely. For example, if you need to write an essay but don't have a set deadline, you might think, "I can do it tomorrow, or next week, or whenever." But when the actual deadline finally approaches, you enter panic mode, working frantically to make up for all the lost time. The temptation of distractions. Social media, YouTube, video games, and movies are always more appealing than any important task. Simply put, they provide instant entertainment without requiring much effort. You sit down at your computer intending to work, but then you think, "I'll just check Facebook for a minute." And before you know it, an hour has passed. These platforms are designed to keep users engaged for as long as possible, using algorithms that continuously suggest captivating content. That's why a short video can quickly turn into an entire evening of watching. So, what's the solution? Let's find out. Using the 5-second rule. The 5-second rule is an incredibly effective method to overcome procrastination. The idea is simple. Whenever you feel hesitant or tempted to delay a task, count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then immediately take action. This prevents your brain from overthinking because the more time you spend deliberating, the more likely you are to find excuses not to do it. For example, you plan to wake up early to exercise but then think, I'll do it later, just 5 more minutes. Those 5 minutes quickly turn into 30, and before you know it, the whole morning is gone. But if, as soon as your alarm goes off, you count down and get up immediately, you don't give your brain the chance to convince you to stay in bed. Applying the 2-minute rule. One of the simplest yet most effective ways to combat procrastination is the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes to complete, do it immediately. The idea behind this rule is simple. Small tasks aren't worth postponing, but if you let them pile up, they become an overwhelming burden. For example, instead of letting unread emails clutter your inbox, reply immediately if it takes just a few seconds. Or rather than letting dishes stack up in the sink, wash them right after eating. Cleaning your desk? It takes just a minute, but it helps you stay focused throughout the day. Breaking tasks down. The salami technique. Imagine you have a gigantic salami sandwich. You can't just shove the whole thing into your mouth at once, right? Instead, you slice it into smaller pieces and eat it bit by bit. Work is the same way. Instead of thinking, I have to write a full 10-page report, think, I just need to write the introduction first. That's it. Once you get that first part done, it becomes much easier to keep going. Why does this work? Because your brain hates overwhelming tasks. When something seems too big, your brain immediately looks for ways to avoid it. But when you break it down into smaller steps, your brain thinks, oh, this is easy, I can do this right now. And then, you start. Once you begin, motivation follows. Set a fake deadline. Have you noticed that as a deadline approaches, you work faster? That's because there's no way out. But without a deadline, it's easy to keep procrastinating. The solution? Set a fake deadline. Tell a friend, I'll finish my presentation by 7 p.m. tonight. Or set an alarm and remind yourself, I have to get this done before it rings. Want to be even more effective? Tell someone. When you promise to send a report by 5 p.m., you add pressure to finish on time. Because no one wants to hear, hey, why isn't it done yet? Use the Pomodoro technique. Ever sit down to work, only to get distracted after 10 minutes and start scrolling on your phone? Or the opposite, work non-stop for 3 hours, only to feel completely drained afterward? If so, the Pomodoro technique is exactly what you need. Here's how it works. Check mark work for 25 minutes. Focus 100%, no distractions. Take a 5-minute break. Stand up, stretch, drink some water. Repeat the cycle. After 4 rounds, take a longer break, 15 to 30 minutes. Why does this work? Because our brain isn't great at maintaining focus for long periods. But knowing you only need to concentrate for 25 minutes makes it much easier. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by a full day of work, you just think, okay, I only need to focus for 25 minutes. Sounds much easier, right? If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss the latest videos. Thank you for watching.